An Alabama death row inmate set to die in a first-of-its-kind execution.
Today, a federal appeals court ruled Alabama can carry out the nation's first execution using nitrogen hypoxia. Kenneth Smith fought to be killed by the untested method after a botched execution attempt last year. The court allowed it to happen, but after looking at some of the safety concerns, his attorneys are now begging the court to stay the execution.
The proposed execution method has been condemned by multiple religious and advocacy groups, but today a court allowed it to move forward, and the Supreme Court has decided not to take up the appeal, leaving Smith's last hope for a stay in the hands of Governor Ivey.
We are live with team coverage tonight on this historic execution, and we want to begin with WVTM 13's Lisa Crane in Atmore tonight near the prison where Smith is set to be killed.
Yeah, Lisa, one concern isn't really about Smith, but those in the chamber with him during the execution.
Yeah, we understand that one of the people who will be in that chamber with Kenneth Smith is his spiritual advisor, and he is very concerned about his own safety and the safety of any prison personnel who might be in that room as well. Now, we spoke to Reverend Jeff Hood earlier, and he is here in Atmore now and will be by Smith's side as he is executed. He says Smith is so anxious and stressed that he's been throwing up for weeks. But he also says Smith has come to terms with what will happen, and while neither one of them will give up hope yet, they do not anticipate a halt to this execution that's set for tomorrow. Reverend Hood says there is concern about what will happen to him when the nitrogen fills his mask on Kenneth Smith's face. He's worried about it leaking out into the room.
When they turn on the gas, I will be feet from, literally feet from him. So I'm prepared for whatever happens next. Lisa, I guess the best way of saying it is that when you're called by God to do something, you would rather lose your life than forsake your calling.
Now, Reverend Hood has spent some time with Kenneth Smith over the last several months and says right now he is not in a good mental space. He says he's very stressed and anxious, as you can imagine. And there have been several protests all over the state to stop this execution and opposing the death penalty, one in Birmingham tonight as well. WVTM 13's Gladys Bautista was at that event and has more on that part of the story. Gladys?
Hey Lisa, yeah, as you can see from these signs behind me, people gathered here to make their voices heard on the eve of what will be the nation's first execution by nitrogen hypoxia. I want to give you a look at what it was inside and the people gathered there. About a dozen people gathered at this church earlier today, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham. The event was called A Voices of Experience on the Death Penalty and featured presentations by an Alabama death row survivor and others who oppose the death penalty. The conversations inside revolved around the facts and statistics of capital punishment in Alabama, especially as the state prepares to execute Smith tomorrow through this new and untested method of nitrogen hypoxia. The executive director of Death Penalty Action believes if it goes through, it could set a dangerous precedent.
If they're successful at adding this as a new way to carrying out executions in this country, that other states are already looking at it, several other states already have it on the books, it potentially is very bad for our movement. It certainly is bad for most of the prisoners on Alabama's death row because they all were asked to sign a form about which way they wanted to go, and most of them chose gas because they knew it didn't exist. Well, now it's going to exist, which means that we might see a spike in executions here.
Now, of course, a lot of people have lost hope that this execution will be halted tomorrow. That's why a lot of these conversations that they had today were about organizing for the future to continue to rally against capital punishment here in Alabama and throughout the entire country. For now, we're live in Birmingham. Gladys Bautista. Lisa, I'll send it back to you.
All right, well, court documents released today are also giving us a closer look at the timeline of events leading up to Smith's death, should nothing interfere with that. The state plans on giving Smith his last meal before 10 a.m. if he chooses to eat. He will not be granted solid foods again after that time. The state will also cut off liquids by 4 p.m. The execution is set to be carried out no earlier than 6 p.m. We've been following this execution since 2023, and for all of our coverage, be sure to download the WVTM 13 app.